This is the JTV Caribbean News. I am Sean Rose. The Turks and Caicos police force is under scrutiny. An investigation into the entire police force, headed by TCI Governor Peter Beckingham, includes a thorough review of TCI's Commissioner of Police, Colin Farquhar, before his contract comes to an end next year. According to TCI Weekly News, the successes and the failure of the outgoing Commissioner of Police will be objectively assessed during the review of the police force. Throughout his 2-year term, fingers have been pointed at the head of the force as crime rates hit new highs and arrests failed to be made following several high-profile incidents. TCI Premier Rufus Ewing asked Governor Peter Beckingham to conduct the investigation. TCI Police Commissioner Colin Farquhar, an experienced Canadian police chief, will not be applying for a renewal and will be retiring from law enforcement. The UK's Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the FCO, is currently advertising internationally for a highly motivated and experienced senior officer to fill the role. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves announced a minor cabinet reshuffle, shifting the Ministry of Works to the Office of Prime Minister with immediate effect. Gonsalves said the Minister of Works, Julian Francis, will become a Minister of State in that ministry. Francis is also General Secretary of the Gonsalves-led ruling Unity Labour Party, and the development is in keeping with the ULP's actions leading up to general elections, which are constitutionally due by December 2015. Political observers say the announcement, taken in conjunction with statements made by Prime Minister Gonsalves and Francis earlier this year, is expected to further fuel speculations that the government is preparing for early elections. A shake-up is in the cards for the way Cayman Islands citizens vote. A new electoral boundary commission will line up one man, one vote the next time the country goes to the polls. Cayman Islands Premier Honorable Alden McLaughlin made the announcement on Wednesday, September 3rd. Cayman 27's Tammy Solomon filed this report.
I think it's perhaps a bit uncharitable to say an about face.
Premier Alden McLaughlin says his administration will change the way Cayman casts its ballot.
The concepts of equality of vote, or equality of franchise, and single-member electoral districts have been the position of the progressives for more than a decade.
A little over a month ago, there was an outcry when he told Cayman 27 there was a distinct possibility there would be no change from multi to single-member constituencies before the next election.
There is no question, though, that the agitation by the opposition has caused government to have to deal with the matter head up and right now. And for that, I am very grateful.
Now he's calling on the governor to appoint an electoral boundary commission to carve up the country where each elector has only one vote, and for the whole thing to be done well in advance of the next election in 2017. At the moment, 18 people are elected to sit in the Legislative Assembly to represent the interests of the people of the Cayman Islands. Now, could that number change? The Premier says that's a question for the Electoral Boundary Commission to answer in its findings, as there is the argument that an even number like 18 could end up in a hung parliament.
So it's a distinct possibility, but it is not something that we are proposing in this motion.
For the Premier at this stage, he just wants to get the process underway.
This is an issue which ought not to create a distraction for the government, which has a whole lot of critical important things to do, particularly with respect to the economy and a whole range of other things. And I am more than happy to get this particular issue out of the way. And
it looks like he'll get his wish once his motion to form a new electoral boundary commission is brought to the Legislative Assembly next week. Tammy Solomon, Cayman 27.
The Trinidad-based Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, is warning the Caribbean to be prepared for the full impact of the mosquito-borne chikungunya virus, 8 months after the first case was detected. CARPHA Executive Director Dr. James Hospitales told the Caribbean Media Corporation, the CMC, that there are over 9,000 confirmed cases in the Caribbean. There is an estimate in excess of 600,000 cases in total, most of those being from the bigger countries like the Dominican Republic and Haiti, with 37 deaths in total. Chikungunya is a viral disease carried mainly by the Aedes aegypti mosquito and causes a dengue-like sickness. Dr. Hospidales said the valiant effort by Caribbean governments to deal with the virus is not sufficient, and there are plans to look at what's new in terms of science and how to better educate people. Dr. Hospidales told the CMC that with a population of 17 million people, the region is still in the early stages of the virus, warning the full bloom of chikungunya virus is yet to come. And finally, in this week's Caribbean News segment, the St. Lucia government has signed an agreement with the government of New Zealand on a partnership aimed at providing key technical assistance to support geothermal exploration and help define the prospects for advancing geothermal development in St. Lucia. St. Lucia Energy Minister Dr. James Fletcher signed the agreement with New Zealand Foreign Affairs Minister Murray Macaulay. According to a government press release, the agreement is also designed to support training opportunities in geothermal energy through New Zealand development scholarships and facilitate, where possible, practical skills development opportunities, the government said of the pact, which was signed on the sidelines of the 3rd International Small Island Developing States Conference in Samoa this week. According to Minister Fletcher, any potential project in St. Lucia would likely be located at the island's sulfur springs. St. Lucia's government announced in February of this year that it would be following several of its regional neighbors in considering exploration of geothermal resources. For the JTV Caribbean News, Sean Rose.
And coming up next on JTV News. With 30 reported cases of chikungunya in the BVI, authorities are stepping up surveillance. Members of the press get a guided tour and update on the works being carried out at the cruise pier. And newly crowned Miss BVI receives a pearl heirloom from Miss BVI 2013, who says the BVI Queen role is more than glitz and glamour.